Welcome back to This Is Cinema, episode 7. It's your host, Kevin27, back with another fire episode. And today we are breaking down a couple movies and a TV show on this fine day. And I guarantee you it's going to be fire. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube at Kevin27World. And if you are listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, make sure you give a follow at Kevin27World. And also, if you want to listen to this episode without any ads, go over to the official This Is Cinema page on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and give that a follow, and you can listen to this episode without any ads. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first segment. First, we have Underdoggs, starring Snoop Dogg and Mike Epps. And let's just go ahead and start the 10-minute timer right now. So, Underdoggs is a movie about a washed up athlete, and everybody gets washed up, so I'm not being disrespectful. It's about a washed up wide receiver named 2J's, and that was his celebration. And he was an arrogant asshole, pretty much on some real life wide receiver diva. You know how they call wide receivers divas? Like, he was the epitome of this. And this guy was the typical make it out the hood, never come back to the hood, and he has to get humbled. And so nothing about this story was very groundbreaking. The thing about it was just funny as hell. Like, my man's he talking smack with Tony Gonzalez. And let me remind you, his career is damn near like Randy Moss. Like, he just did so much a-hole things. It was kind of like, now Randy Moss is good now. He kind of rejuvenated himself, going back, signing with the 49ers and going to the Super Bowl and blah, blah, blah. But still, you know, in the league, they said he quit on the Raiders. He quit on the Vikings. Like, you know, it was that type of thing. So I kind of feel like his character was comparable to Jerry Rice, or not Jerry Rice, excuse me, Jerry Rice, the GOAT, Randy Moss. And you kind of tell that. Now, the funny thing about this is, and my boy Snoop been had dreadlocks. I feel like since about 2013, maybe 2014. So I'm not saying that, but he damn sure looked like 2 Chainz in this movie for sure. Now, another thing I would love to say is Mike Epps, he was good. Knowing Cali people, and he from Indiana. Mike Epps, he need to work on an LA accent. I didn't buy it at all, okay? That's a part of acting. And I will say this. So the funny thing and the shock value about this movie is supposed to be the kids swearing, okay? And I felt like it was a movie that just came out a couple years ago, where it was supposed to be a bunch of kids doing adult things as far as like swearing, and it didn't go over so well. This movie hit it on the head. You know, you got Snoop Dogg character out here talking to kids like they're adults. Like, he cussing, he saying, "Oh, y'all don't fuck with me." Like, he going all in. And I get, because, so if you look on the Rotten Tomatoes, it's kind of crazy. The Rotten Tomato score is very low. It's 40% on the tomato meter, and the audience score is 55%. So rotten all the way. I can see why it's rotten, because nothing about the movie was surprising. He gets sent to his hometown by a judge that he used to funk with. He gets sent to his hometown, and he got to clean up dog shit, right? Community service, because he had reckless endangerment with driving and all of this stuff. They gave him 300 hours of community service or something like that. Right then and there, you could already tell, okay, this is going to be some type of, this is going to be the way he ends up coaching. I've seen this with a Martin Lawrence film. You know what I mean? When he was a basketball player and they wanted to humble him. So he had to coach a sorry basketball team in middle school. And uh it's kind of like it's kind of the same premise. Like, so in this movie, he goes and he coaches this basketball team. They sorry, but he's so great. He turns them around. And at the end, when they have a chance to go to the championship or the championship game, he gets offered another head coaching position, and he has to go and do that instead of going to the basketball game. It's exactly the same premise in this film. Snoop Dogg's character, he does the kids very well because he had a podcast and he had like 200 subscribers. Yo, shout out to the guys out there trying to get their subscribers up like me. I'm at like 470. You know, it's a struggle out there. You know what I mean? Light up that exotic pork, that expensive, so we can get offensive. Uh, that's what was going on here. And he gets it done and he turns the season around. He gets the kids new uniforms. They looking fresh. Obviously, Lakers inspired. Shout out to the Mambas out there. And everything going good. He gets a position to work at Fox Sports, but obviously, Fox Sports, they want him to be in the studio on Fox Sunday Countdown, so he has to work on Sunday. Now, my thing is, unless it's the Super Bowl, why wouldn't he just be able to work the next week? You know what I mean? So that was just too predictable. He went, he walked out on them. Michael Strahan said some shit, and he blacked out. And then he went back, coached the team. Now they did the Coach Carter thing where they don't win at the end. They get very close to winning, and then it's supposed to be this whole, well, we didn't win, but we came close to winning. And you know, it's basically like the Detroit Lions. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we almost won, so let's just be happy because no one expected us to get this far, type of thing. Cool, cool, cool. Obviously, I'm not even gonna say it's anywhere based on what Snoop did with his own, you know, little league or Pee Wee football league. You know, I doubt Snoop was acting like that, talking hella shit about poor kids. You know, I doubt Snoop was doing that type of thing. So yeah, I think it was cool. It was a good movie. Shout out to Andrew Schultz. So Andrew Schultz was in this movie. I've been watching Andrew Schultz for damn near 10 years. I've been actually, yeah, I think I've been watching The Brilliant Idiots since 2014. And yeah, I've been watching Andrew Schultz since then. And honestly, his meteoric rise is something to behold. And mind you, he's in his 40s and he's just now really, you know, reaching the peak of his powers. You know what I mean? And he was great in this movie. He kind of did a poor, I would say I ain't even gonna say poor. He actually did a funnier imitation of what Skip Bayless is. I feel like Jim Rome and Skip Bayless were like the real aggressive sports head media personalities out there, but Skip Bayless was just light years ahead of Jim Rome, which is why no one ever mentions Jim Rome in any relevant conversation when we talking about sports media personalities. I think he did his best impersonation of Skip Bayless and took it to another level. He has some funny jokes, you know, and Andrew Schultz is not one of those people who's afraid to shy away from saying something controversial. He has some controversial things in here. You know, uh, I don't really remember off the top of my head, but I just know Andrew Schultz. Like he made a black woman cry in his stand up special. Like he is not afraid to push the limit. So yeah, shout out to Andrew Schultz. I really enjoyed what he did here. He was very good in this show and this movie, and he actually made it really funny because Snoop Dogg was already funny. Snoop Dogg has been funny in movies since what? The Wash. You know what I mean? Snoop Dogg has been killing it as a comedic actor. And the kids, the only thing I didn't like about the kids is 10 minutes is up, so we're gonna wrap this up. Only thing I didn't like about the kids was seeing the kids drinking because these kids look like they were about 10 years old, maybe 11. So I just didn't want to see that. You know what I mean? Maybe if it portrayed them a little bit as teenagers, it'd have been a little cool. But for them to be getting white boy wasted and for no one to have any clue what's going on with these kids drinking, a little poor taste to me in the film. I didn't like that was the only part that made me cringe. The cursing and all that stuff. Look, I grew up on Stand By Me, little white kids. I think it was 3 or 4 of them cursing. I grew up on South Park. You know what I mean? I grew up on Bebe's Kids. So little kids cursing and being edgy. I just think it's maybe an equivalent of seeing a man in a dress. Like you're not supposed to see that. You're not supposed to see these little kids calling each other bitches, hoes, talking about dicks, saying titties, and then in front of the parents on top of that. You're not supposed to see that. You know what I mean? Because in real life, most of the time, now I have seen instances where little kids will be swearing in front of their parents, and you kind of look like at the parents like you let your kids talk like that, like wow, you know what I mean? So it wasn't that much of a shock factor to me, but yeah, it was a predictable movie. But on the funny side, I laughed out loud about a good 10 times in this film. So for that, I will give Underdogs star Snoop Dogg a 7 out of 10. You know what I mean? Uh the tomato meter, I think they just go off of, well, this is like every movie we've ever seen. And it's sorry to break it to you. I hate to break it to you, but pretty much every movie that we see from now on will be like every movie we've ever seen, unless you're telling a real life true story. And even some of the real life true stories, like I'm going to talk about Griselda towards the end of the podcast, even the real life true stories, they have similar endings because a lot of humans are similar. So even some of the stories will become similar. Okay. So that was my review on Underdogs. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And let me know what you thought about it. You think it was a home run? You think it was just piss poor comedy? Because though I feel like the lowest hanging fruit of comedy is profanity. You know what I mean? Like saying fuck shit, and then when you put it with kids like South Park, I mean, it's just the lowest common denominator when you're talking about comedy. It's not really clever. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, I get if you don't like it. But if you just want to watch something brainless, Underdogs is your movie. And I'm gonna keep it real. The movie did kind of make me emotional because for some reason, man, sports and seeing the underdog story, always love it. It always gets me. So check out Underdogs on Prime Video.